gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these fights. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle drippin' heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who day, time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle drippin', nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feastin' now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move closing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast on beast and know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move closing on? Now who wanna move on? Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. Do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 1,804 subscribers. You guys are getting me so close to being to 2,000 by the time the season rolls around, which was my goal. So if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, first of all, why not? Second of all, you can help me get there. Just go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice, hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification. And every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you got a question that you're just dying for Willie Lutz from the Same Old Stripes to answer, it's something that's just eating at you, like, God, I really want to know what this guy thinks, give me a super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, how you guys doing? It's been a long time. I'm live on a Monday. What is up with this? I haven't been live on a Monday in months. We had a lot of cool stuff happen this weekend. I was at Bengals practice today. Jackpot Joey Burrow was throwing the football around. And, of course, I missed it. It was on the other side of the field. So I knew something was going on. So I walked over there. By the time I got there, they're just kind of milling around or whatever. I'm like, oh, I guess I missed it or whatever. Then ESPN, then Baby walks over to me here. He goes, hey, Ice, did you see Joe was throwing? I go, Joe, like Joe Burrow, Jackpot? He goes, yeah. I go, no. He goes, oh, yeah, he was throwing for about 5 minutes over there. He goes, I tweeted it out. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, oh, God. So anyway, I quote tweeted his video. So you guys can check it out. And Joe did throw today. It's pretty cool. But I missed it. But, that happens. Anyway, let's get to the chat crew. What's up, everybody in the chat crew? Ray Robinson, Doggy, what's up? Haas, Nicholas, Stranger, what's going on, everybody? I'm glad to be back on a Monday. All right, let's get to this. Enough of me talking. Let's get to why you guys are all here. The reason you're here is not me. You're here to see Willie Lutz. You're here to find out the information that only Willie can give you from the Same Old Stripes. So let's get to him. Here's Willie. Willie, what's up, my man?
Not a whole lot, Strawberry Guys. Always a nice intro when I come on the show. I did notice the picture. I've got a lot more hair going on for everyone that's always in the willingness to grow his hair back out. Mafia,
It's coming back. It's coming back.
I'm sitting here.
And I'm noticing the iconic Joe Burrow Jackpot Joey hat that Jamar Chase is wearing. I'm noticing that. I like it.
I was just getting ready to say there's no other hat. I had to wear it for the occasion. If I'm going to be on this show and celebrating such an occasion, Jamar Chase flaunting that number 9 hat. Beautiful thing, man. Saw it slap in the middle of that Peter King article today. If you guys got a chance to check out his long read for Football Morning in America, highly recommend. Good read on Jamar Chase, but a beautiful hat, a beautiful day to celebrate Jamar Chase wearing that hat. And let's talk some Bengals football, man. Things are good.
Hey, dude. You know what's even better? We'll actually have, well, let's say that it's football, real football fan. We'll be able to go in the jungle and watch the Bengals play this Friday. I am freaking excited. I cannot wait.
Yeah, so I'm pretty fired up to have real football to talk about. I mean, at some point, like I think after the first preseason game, everyone's kind of like, all right, let's get to the real thing. But the first one's kind of fun. The first time you see your team in your uniforms running on the field, it's like I ate up the Hall of Fame game.
Right.
I'll admit it. That it's not great football, but if I wasn't ready to put a bet on the second and third team Raiders to win the Super Bowl, I mean, I wouldn't be the football fan I am. You got to be. Preseason is overhyped time, and I'm all the way here for it. So I'm ready to strap in for Friday's game.
Dude, it's football. I got ready. I sat down. I got my beer, had my chips. I was ready. I turned it on, and it was a weather delay. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, I've been waiting this long for football. Like, why? Like, gosh, so I started flipping around and started watching the Reds game, going back, trying to find out when the game was going to start. And finally, it got started, at 8:40 or whatever. And I was ecstatic. I'm like, I don't care about either team. It wasn't the Bengals, but it was football. I was so happy to see football back today. But to me, today, the bigger news is Jackpot was throwing the ball, Willie. There are actual videos of him not in a golf cart. I mean, he wasn't running around. He was throwing it, but at least he was throwing it. Those are good signs.
Yeah, and I've been kind of surprised. I think we all have been surprised to see it's taken this long, but this might even sound funny to say in the timeline of it all, but to me, I was like almost surprised to see him even throwing today, just given how much of a ramp up it seems like it's been. Like we saw him just about 10 days ago or so, really struggling, looking uncomfortable on the cart. I mean, now he's walking around for the entire practice after. I mean, it did seem to take a ramp up. I don't know what it all took or what the pain level was for this, but it does seem to be maybe a little more complicated than some of us. All of us in Cincinnati became Twitter doctors during all that, but it just puts us all in such a good state of mind because just to see him throwing the football, given where he was 10 days ago, I mean, it feels like to me, just reading, all the different doctors who've weighed in on this, which clearly some of the doctors have to be wrong at this point because they all say different things. Right. So just anytime someone tells you to trust a Twitter doctor, they all have interesting credentials. So be wary of that. But anyway, Joe Burrow being closer to throwing today, I think it shows us that we're about ready to start seeing number 9 in shells on the practice field, which is what all of us want to see. And we'll finally bring everyone back into football mode because I think seeing that will be such a reminder that, hey, this is about to happen to Bengals fans. And everyone else gets to see it. I'm jealous of seeing, Broncos fans get to see Russell Wilson doing his thing. Chargers fans are getting to watch some Justin Herbert deep balls. Steelers fans get to watch a lot of Kenny Pickett interceptions, but Bengals fans, we don't get that relief yet. We don't have it. So I'm ready for that. And I think today, huge step in the right direction.
Huge step. I like I said, I wish I had not missed it because I'm like, they had the VIP tent and then they had it was really cool. They had guys from the Airborne there. I don't know which company they were from, but I guess they got VIP tickets. So they're standing all in between the two fields. And I thought, like, something's going on. I can't see it. So I had to walk all the way around. By the time I got there, I was like, dang it, I missed it. But I was ecstatic when I found out that he was actually throwing. And that, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, even if he had a healthy offseason, well, he did have a healthy offseason, but healthy training camp, he's not going to play this Friday. He's most likely playing this, maybe the second game, maybe the last game. He's really not going to play. So more or less, I really am hoping he's ready for the scrimmage that they have against the LA Rams. To me, that is because from what I've talked to different coaches and stuff, they get more out of that anymore than they do they get stuff out of the game. So don't get me wrong, but more of the combined practices. And in my opinion, honestly, I think eventually that's what the preseason is going to just boil down to. They're going to have combined practices eventually. But that to me is the more of, I hope he's ready to play for that. That'll be a big step, I think.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I mean, the nice part about those practices too is the quarterback doesn't get hit. It's still a practice. The coaches still control it. It's not live football. And the preseason, and why I hope to see him play 0 snaps in the preseason, or probably 0 preseason snaps ever again if it were up to me, just as a person that cares about the health and well-being of quarterbacks and most starters. But like, you can tell me Jamar Chase will never play a preseason snap again, and I'll say that is the best news you could possibly tell me. Just my opinion on all of it. But I'm totally with you. Like, those reps coming against really a defense that he hasn't seen for the first time. It'll be their starters versus our starters. Like, it'll be ones versus ones. And to have a defense that'll be doing something different with a different perspective that doesn't come from in your building. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, the Rams and the Bengals, I mean, that all trickles down from that, Sean McVay brain trust. So there's going to be similarities, but there's things you can't replicate. Like the defense that Raheem Morris is going to run with the Rams is very different than the defense that Lou Anarumo is going to run with the Bengals.
Right.
So for them, I mean, the Bengals can play scout team, but when you're going up against, and we know Jamar Chase cooked Jalen Ramsey, we're all good with that. But when you're going up against Jalen Ramsey, and when you're going up against, Aaron Donald, you got all these crazy pass rushers, really good growing linebacker. It's just, you get a totally different look at defense. So you're totally right. Get Joe Burrow on the field for that. And he might not need it as much, but having the ability for him to, work with the first team offense and then get the feel for that, and the game speed of that, and what that looks like against a really stout defense. I think that's huge. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm hoping he's shooting for. And to me, him coming out and being able to at least throw the ball, it's encouraging. I mean, will he make it to that? I don't know. I have no earthly idea, but that's what I'm hoping, and I wouldn't be surprised if the coaching staff and Joe would like to see that happen too. Let's get this question here from Stranger. He said, question from what, if any, penalties should we expect at a BS level equal to last year's taunting penalties? That's a good question. I don't know of anything that they're really enforcing like they did the taunting stuff last year. Do you know of any there, Willie?
Not now, but usually it's about week 3 when we find out what the league has decided they care about this year. So just stay tuned. So yeah, to answer your question, yes and no. I think taunting is probably going to be less of a thing because everyone probably complained about that at the league meetings. But the league always decides about, I don't know, sometime around week 1 that there's some rule that they really care about now.
Right. Oh yeah, you remember that rule 2319 way back when they made 1968? Yeah, let's go force that one. Whatever it is.
Yeah, Bill Belichick said he was sick of seeing that, so we're going to enforce it this year.
Right, exactly. Oh, so, Bill Belichick says it. Oh.
Yeah, the most arbitrary rule this year will probably be the one that everyone's going to be. They're going to be like, this rule should be eliminated, and ESPN talking about it, and they'll never do anything about it. We'll never hear about it again.
Exactly. So I don't know if you heard, if you saw my cryptic tweet I sent out this weekend about a certain beer that is going to be coming out soon, and I actually got a sample of it. I don't have a date for it yet, or I don't have the cans yet, but the Jackpot Joey beer is coming, people. It is on its way. So when and where, I know it's brewed from Brinks Brewery. When it's coming out, I don't know yet, but it is very, very soon because people keep asking when's it's coming out. I said, it's coming. We're hoping it's before the first game, but it's coming. So Willie, are you more of a hoppy kind of beer drinker, or you just like Bud Light? What kind of beer do you like?
So fortunately for everyone on this call, I'm an every kind of beer drinker, but so that's a good position for me to be in. So I'll answer this 2 ways. If I'm drinking if I want a nice beer, I love a nice Truth or a nice IPA from somewhere, but I love a Miller Lite. I love a Coors Light. I mean, a PBR. I mean, I think you're going to sell me on any beer pretty quickly.
Any and all.
Not picky. Yeah.
Especially if it's free, right? That's the best kind.
Free is the best price you can put on a beer. It makes it taste 10 times better. I've told people that for years and years, and you can't prove me wrong.
Exactly. All right. So a couple of things that I noticed at practice. I mean, because the only competitions we really have is long snapper and the punter. Long snappers, they both snap the ball. I don't know. But punters, I could tell a difference today. Drew Christian was blasting the ball. I mean, he was sending the guys backwards to go get it. And Huber, unfortunately, kind of in my eyes, had a kind of a bad day today. He shanked a couple of them and stuff. I still don't know. To me, that doesn't mean that Drew's going to win it and over Huber or anything. I mean, I think when I interviewed Darren Simmons a couple months ago, he said how a lot has to do with the holding too. It's not just punting; it's the holding as well. So where are your stances on the punting situation here with Drew or Huber, or haven't even given it a thought at all? Because this is where we're at. We got nothing else to talk about because there's nothing going. There's nothing wrong with the Bengals other than punters.
I mean, this is something I've been talking about a lot, dating back to last year, and I think that I don't have. No one's told me anything. I don't have anything there, but my read on this situation is, I think they were willing to make this move last year if Drew Chrisman was able to stay healthy for all of camp. And he obviously broke his hand, which is when you're holding. Yeah, I think that you want to have a not broken hand, and he didn't have that.
Probably helps.
Yeah, that's a problem when you got to hold the football for kicks. It doesn't work that well. But I don't think there's ever been a question about Drew Chrisman's ability to punt the football. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, we're talking about a generational staple in Kevin Huber, who obviously, if you talk to anyone in that building, has all the respect you could want.
Right.
Showed up this year in the best shape that he's been in since, his first couple of years in the league. I mean, he's noticeably slimmer, but I think that he's also noticeably grayer, and that tells you a lot about this competition. By all intents and purposes, no offense, Iceman, but it's a young man's game, and if Drew Chrisman can hold, and it sounds like everything's been totally fine there. I have a hard time envisioning a scenario where Drew Chrisman doesn't win this job. And it's not just, Kevin Huber, still, good punter, no question there. Still a huge member of what the Bengals have been for a long time, no question there. But it makes it even a little easier when Drew Chrisman grew up going to Bengals games and is a guy from, right on the border over in Indiana. I mean, I think the writing might be on the wall just by what we're seeing. And I think the fact that we're seeing a lot now of the battery of Clark Harris and Drew Chrisman working together, and they've been rotating is my understanding. But I just think the way I see it now, I think this is Drew Chrisman's job to lose unless something goes wrong on the punting side of things or something goes wrong on the holding side of things, and there's no indication that that's going to be reality. I think Clark Harris is safe, by the way. I think that's –
dude, Clark Harris has never, ever had an uncatchable freaking hike or, long snap. That's – I
think there was a –
you and me saw him at Sam Hubbard's foaling tournament hiking the ball and knocking the bowling pins over.
The dude's a specimen. I think the dude can play until he's like 50 years old and just keep doing the job he's doing and just be totally fine and never have an issue. So I don't think you're going to see Clark Harris go anywhere. But the Kevin Huber thing, man, I wonder how long it'll be if Darren brings him back quickly as like a special teams advisor or something because he is so in the fabric of this team. But I just think it's Drew Chrisman's job to lose. And I know that's going to hurt some egos, but I think he's just been, for 2 years now, the guy that's ready to take that job.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, because like we said, we all saw Kevin Huber struggle toward the end of the year. And I think that's why he lost weight and got himself in a little better shape to try to get the grind, which, I mean, you got to give Huber, he's one of the oldest players on the team and in the league. And they played the longest season ever in NFL history. So you got to cut him a little slack of why, he got tired. But Drew is just crushing the ball, dude. And my only issue I've ever had with Drew and his punting is the consistency of it, because sometimes they just don't have the height that you would want every single time. Which, I mean, they're going to have mess ups every once in a while. But dude, he drilled 4 of them in a row. I mean, sent them all the way back to the 1 yard line, and they were missile shots. I mean, they you weren't going to return those. So I mean, you can do that in a game on a consistent basis. That's a weapon in itself. Now, like I said, the holding thing, and that's I think it kind of comes down to that, just from what Darren Simmons has told me, that that is more. It's he said it used to be, I can't remember the percentages he told me, but it used to be more of the punting instead of the holding. Now it's more 50-50 of being able to hold the ball and punt. And just, you have to take this into a factor of how good Clark Harris, Kevin Huber, and Evan McPherson were together last year. So that is a factoring thing. And if Drew can do it and there's no flaws, and I think it's going to be Drew's job. But it sucks for Kevin because one more year and he'll have the longest or the most games played. So, but it like you said, it's a young man's game, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, it's a tough business, man. Kevin Huber, for all intents and purposes, has been through all the bad days that all of us went through over the last, and all the good days. So it's just, but it gets to a point where it's the NFL and it's time, and I think we're there.
Yeah, that's kind of where it's at. Cap Post saying I have a surprise. Yeah, I already told everybody about the beer, dude. You missed it. You were late.
Late to the party, brother.
That's my son. But yeah, we have the beers. The beer's coming soon. I wish I had a date to tell everybody, but I don't have it yet. Let's see. Let's get the Royal Flush. Let me see if I can read this here. A lot of the market for skill positions players get set after every offseason. A few years down the line, does Evan McPherson set the market for kickers? Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Justin Tucker do it today. He's the same level of kicker as Justin Tucker going forward. Just so, I mean, they drafted him in the 5th round for a reason. It was a problem. I think there's no doubt there, and they love him, and he loves being here.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he is by far. I mean, he might be as popular as Joe Burrow. I mean, they were in the field behind the stands, and he just ran across to go to the airfield to go practice kicking or whatever they want him to do. And people are like, "Shooter!" They're cheering. I'm like, he's literally not even doing anything. He's just running across the field. I mean, it was just like when Joe on Wednesday or Thursday last night drove his golf cart around and everything, Joe, and he's like literally doing nothing. And that's the same cheer I got for Evan McPherson. I think he might be up there with it's Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and it might be Evan McPherson as far as the popular Bengal players.
Yeah, they're like the Cincinnati Beatles now. Like everywhere they go, people just lose their minds. Like what a bizarre time, because I swear you could be a Bengals player in the middle of like a Cincinnati sports crowd 5 or 6 years ago, pop into a restaurant in the Banks, and no one would have a clue who you are. Right. You could get entirely unnoticed. Maybe the fans would be like, "Oh, that's definitely him," but like no one's going. Those guys are just royalty in the city now. Oh, yeah. They're not at any of those places because they will get sniffed out immediately. Because what a time! But you're totally right. I mean, it's no secret that Evan McPherson's become one of the core marketing pieces for this team. Think about all those emails that everyone gets, all those tweets. Even with the helmet release, it was like, like this picture of Evan McPherson or whatever, if you want the Bengals to show their white Bengal helmets. And everyone's like, well, obviously, but
a million likes. Yes.
It's no secret that Evan McPherson is someone that they like to market around, is popular with the fans. And I would like to have everyone look around the league and find A, the number of teams marketing their kicker, and B, the number of teams selling out of their kicker's jersey. Right. It's going to be a very short list.
I have a kicker's jersey. I got Evan McPherson. I got shooter's jersey. So I mean, I'm one of the ones that's got it. And I never thought I'd ever have a kicker's jersey in my life. Now, but hey, when you got one of the best in the league, it's kind of hard not to. And my next one I want to get T. Higgins. Now that I'm 99% sure he's going to stick with 85. That's the next jersey I gotta get him.
Poor man the dude was dying for number 5 all those times, and they just couldn't find a way to make it a thing. I feel so bad for him because I think, is he just caving in on it now? Poor kid. From
what he's got to buy like every freaking jersey.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's like, there's so many T. Higgins jerseys now.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, yeah, he's got money, but you got to be kind of smart with it and just
At the end of the day, dropping a couple $1 million to change your number might not be the best financial investment. Right. 85 is a plenty cool number, and everyone likes it.
Exactly. Let's get to LeVar here. He said, is it me or is Burrow looking a little thin standing at practice today? What's your thoughts?
You know what my impression of that is? When you saw Sam Hubbard in person recently, I also thought he looked thin. I think these guys just look different without their pads on. Like, it's just they're in tremendous shape. It's hard to be that bulky muscularly all the time.
Right. I mean, Joe could lose a little bit of something. He's probably not been able to do a whole. I mean, I've had my appendix taken out. You can't do a whole lot, So I mean, he might have lost a little weight. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he looked that thin, but he might have lost a little. But I mean, dude, once he gets going, these guys they can put it back on real quick if he has lost any at all. But the biggest thing is getting him healthy and getting him in time for September 11th against the Squealers. That's the biggest thing.
The thing will be the hydration portion, because that's what everyone says is the killer with this. I mean, right. It's with any surgery. You just get really dehydrated from everything going on with your body, and, pounding a bunch of electrolytes and water isn't always the top of your brain. They tell you to do it over and over again. But
dude, I was pounding lots of water today. It was so freaking hot down there. Holy crap.
Yeah, these last couple of days can be pretty brutal. I had some friends show up from Wisconsin yesterday, and we're fired up to get autographs. No autographs after the hot day.
Yeah. What was that? Last day I was there. Thursday I was down there, and they went extra long. They went till 4:45, I think. And people were standing around waiting for autographs, and the players are like, "Deuces, it's too hot. We're going in." I think there's a couple of them that stuck around, but most of them, I mean, they went for like 3 hours. I'm like, that was long enough. They were done. And that's funny that people ask me, like, where's the best place to get autographs at? You just gotta get lucky. You sometimes if you stand there, they'll walk over to her just toward the end of practice, or if you go where they go across the street, you gotta get close to the railing, and maybe you get them there. It depends on where you're standing at to get them.
Yeah, like my autograph scouting days are over. I mean, it's in my recollection, there was never a real science to it. You just kind of got to get in a spot, and sometimes the spot with like 3 people standing there is where the superstar player goes, and sometimes it's the spot with. I mean, I will say, I remember being a kid that if you wanted to get Brandon Phillips' autograph, you just go stand there and you're good to go. But normally he signed in the middle of the pack. That's the one I remember distinctly, because he signed every single autograph every game. So yeah.
Well, the one who's been out there, I think, signing the most is Joe Mixon.
Yeah, he's been him and Jamar and T. It sounds like are out there all the time.
Yeah, Jamar and T are out there a lot too. But Jamar's pretty. Yeah. Jamar pretty much just wants to sign kids. He's not really signing adults too much, which I totally get it, because I see some of these guys out there, they're like, they'll come out with 25 cards and a poster. You said you signed this to me yesterday. I'm like, dude, you're 48 years old. Shut up. You sound like a little 5-year-old. I'm like, calm down.
It's not for you all the time, man. It's like it needs more to these kids. I promise you.
Right.
It's like everything to them.
Yeah, somebody got to show these kids out the way. I'm like, get up here. Go ahead. Come here. Sign there. Like, don't come over to me. Come see them. That's what. Yeah. And that's one thing that's so cool about this team. Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, especially, they're really good at signing kids' autographs. If they'll see you and they want to come over, they will come over to the little kids and make sure they sign them and talk to them and give them gloves and towels and stuff like that. So I mean, to me that's going to help build the brand, build these guys are be Bengals fans for the rest of their life. Like, dude, I got an autograph from Jamar Chase. Like, give me a break. I'm like, dude, if Chris Collinsworth had done that to me back in 1981, I'm still a Bengals fan, but I remember it forever. It would be cool.
I remember one year, my birthday, there was a Bengals someone preseason game, and Ray Malaluga, who was like my favorite player at the time, gave me his cleats, and that was it. Like, you can't. There will never be a day where I'm not a Bengals fan because of that interaction.
There you go.
It works, man. That's what happens to the people. It's just like those little connections that end up meaning everything in your fandom, and then you're subscribed to screaming at the TV when the Bengals lose to the Steelers in the 2000s.
Yeah, say that. Yes. Then you become insane super fans like us. Like, oh my God, what's going on?
They just torture you. You just get skewered every couple of months.
Until you have a year like last year, except for the end, which we're not going to talk about the end.
And then you get the Browns for no reason. Just absolutely no reason.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I'm not a Browns fan. There's part of me that I kind of feel bad for, because I'm like, we've been there, but I'm kind of like, your organization did it to yourself. So Oh no, we'll see. All right, a couple more questions here, then we'll get on out of here. Let's see, Terry, what's up, buddy? He goes, not sure if this has been discussed, but if Anarumo has a top 10 defense, this defense, he will be a head coach elsewhere next season. Would Mike Zimmer be interested in returning to DC that position? That's a good question. I would think it'd be more of the guys that are already there, Marion Hobby, stuff like guys like that would probably already in the system. That would be the next ones up, I would think, instead of bringing somebody. Zims, yes, he's a former Bengal coach, but he's not in there now. I know he was at practice Sunday because he still has land over in Kentucky. So I don't know. What's your thoughts, Willie?
I love Zim, and I would love it to be a reality. That'd be so much fun. But I just have a hard time envisioning it. I just with this, he doesn't. I mean, working for Marvin Lewis is very different than working for Zach Taylor.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I think Mike Zimmer's a plenty good head coach and probably still wants to be a head coach if he gets the opportunity. I do know that Bengals fans probably all know this at this point, but he has that big property down in northern Kentucky that is his favorite land. He talks about it anytime someone will listen, big hunting property. If he's not going to be a head coach, I wonder if he wants to leave that area.
Right.
So maybe that makes it a little more appealing, but I wonder how much he wants to be an assistant anymore. He doesn't need to be.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard since, he's been an assistant for all these years. He had a shot at head coach. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It just, to me, I think because the way this staff is, they're a bunch of young guys, and they're all, I think there's other guys like, let's just take Dan Pitcher. Dan Pitcher has been talked about as a guy who could be a future offense coordinator and maybe a future head coach. And, he's the quarterback coach right now. These are the guys. This is what how the Bengals staff is being talked about right now. The guys behind Lou, behind Brian, behind Zach, that these guys can move up and be, the next, DC, the next OC, future head coach. That's kind of where I think it would go. I just can't see them going outside and bringing somebody out of the fold, that's a coach that's not in with the system and how things are going now. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I mean, the funny part is Zach took so much heat for waiting so long to pick his defensive coordinator because they just couldn't find the right fit. And
I remember.
I wonder. There was always that Jack Del Rio rumor that Jack Del Rio had too big of a head, but I think we've all seen where Jack Del Rio's gone and how successful that's been for them at this point. He's kind of washed himself out of a lot of things right now. But it does make sense to me that they would wait for that next person in their internal pipeline to be the guy, because that's been very Sean McVay style, and they come from that same leadership tree. Right. I know we can't say Zach and Sean are all the same all the time. They're different guys at the end of the day, but they do think a lot alike, and I do see it the same way. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's just the way, like you said, it's just Sean McVay. They keep picking from his tree.
Yeah.
And Zach Taylor eventually, I mean, if we go and excuse me, when we go and win the Super Bowl this year,
yes,
Brian Callahan and Lou both could be gone. I would not be shocked at all if both of them are gone, because I mean, they both had shots at moving to head coaching positions this year, so it would not shock me at all. So, and that's just the way I think Zach has this set up as the next man up. And that's a good thing. Honestly, if you're a young head coach or you're a young coach, you want to go somewhere where you can grow and get better. And, guys keep moving up and, picking off, the Zach Taylor tree. And hopefully we have a big Zach Taylor tree and, we win for a long time. But that's just, I kind of think that's more of the way things are, because a lot of these guys are young. They're not much older than you are, to be honest.
No, they're really not. I will say the name everyone needs to get really used to hearing is Dan Pitcher. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if, regardless of Brian Callahan staying or going, if the Bengals do what we all know they're capable of this year, he could be the Zach Taylor kind of guy in this coaching class. Because I keep hearing more and more stuff from people that aren't in Cincinnati about the interest in Dan Pitcher and how smart he is and all the good things that everyone has to say about him. So I know we were talking about defense, but I think that just kind of paints a picture of the pipeline of coaching talent, which, I mean, the leadership talent alone, Zach Taylor's focused on bringing in, kind of builds that. But it's interesting for everyone to observe as the Bengals, they were under Marvin Lewis actually a lot of the time too, so maybe different there. But yeah, it's nice to see the coaching tree stuff start to fire back up. It makes me feel good.
Well, the interesting thing you just brought up there is the leadership of the coaching staff. And that goes back, and I bring this up a lot. It goes back to what Zach would say his first 2 years were trying to get the right people in the building. And that included the coaching staff, and I'm with you. When we hired Lou, it took us forever to get a defense coordinator. And I'll be the first 2 years. I called him Armadillo. I didn't know what the heck his defense was trying to do. But once he got the right guys in the buildings and Luke got the right guys in his system, it took off. And that's what a lot of these guys say. So everything Zach has said about getting the right guys in the building includes the players and the coaches. And that's where Zim and him might be different, but I can't see that being a thing. I think Zach has already got a plan in place. Okay, I'll lose this guy. This guy's going. Zach Taylor's a very thoughtful guy. He's got a lot of stuff already planned out. I feel for the what ifs.
Yeah, Zach Taylor's Sean McVay is the same way. So again, going on that tree, but his program doesn't focus on just the how do we win a Super Bowl in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
It's really when you're a good program builder. I mean, for all of your players, even you design what you think their progression should look like and what the steps they're going to need and what the benchmarks like. There's a path for everyone in this organization and what they expect them to be. So that's the kind of program they've built. That's what they've designed. And I mean, I think it just, again, kind of speaks to what they've decided to do with Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin running the show at this point.
Right, exactly. And I think Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin are hand in hand. They're on the same. They're more on the same page than Marvin and Duke ever were. I think. I mean, we don't have a John Ross.
I was going to say, you want to get into John Ross?
Yeah,
relitigate that one.
Right, exactly. So
Marvin was right.
I think we're in the right situation as far as all moving forward as an organization as a whole. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. And first game is this Friday. I cannot wait to be there. Willie, you've been on for about 40 minutes. I appreciate you. Tell everybody about Same Old Stripes. I know you had my boys Bengals and Brews on. You had Bengals captain on. Hell, you had Mike Hilton on, which one of these days he's going to come on my show. He's told me 2 or 3 times, but I know he's busy now. So, but you were just flat killing it, dude. So tell everybody about the Same Old Stripes podcast.
Yeah, so Same Old Stripes, we're recording tonight. Well, we'll see how that goes. People got some timing stuff going on. There's different people with different family commitments. Billy just had a baby.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to him. But no, we're coming to you typically every Tuesday, and we're going to be coming to you a lot more because as the season goes on, we give you little bonus episodes. The thing you guys can look forward to this week, I'll have an interview with one of the guys from Locked On Cardinals to give us some of the guys you should be watching out for from their side of things. And I think that'll be a nice little sample. But what some of the stuff we're trying to do right now, we're like a nice little community podcast. We're trying to bring some attention to lesser known players. That's kind of been one of our focuses here as we get into the preseason because we're so tired of talking about Jesse Bates and the offensive line, man. We're just blue in the face about it. So,
right.
So you have that to look forward to. Just a lot of good stuff always coming your way on the show.
Notice I didn't bring that up at all, right?
Yeah. The thing I'm really excited about before I sign off is next week I'll have the opportunity to have a really cool panel. I'm going to go and I have 3 other guys that represent AFC North teams coming on the show. One guy from Locked On Ravens, one guy, Jarrett Bailey, who I can't remember his credentials off the top of my head. I think he does some stuff for Bleacher Report, but he's with the Steelers. And then Nick Padone, who works for BetJack up in Cleveland, does a lot of great content with them. It'll be a really interesting discussion just to kind of check in with where everyone's at. And Bengals fans, you don't have to be scared off. It's not going to be like talking to people whose like pictures or like a picture of Hollywood Brown like running super fast or something. These are people that you'll want to hear their perspective. So we have that to look forward to next week. And that's what we got going on Same Old Stripes, man.
That is awesome. So make sure you guys are following me. You better be following Willie because Willie's way better at Twitter than I am. Check out their podcast. They do a great job. Willie, as always, brother, it's a blast. We'll have to do it again sometime. And hopefully I get to see you down at the stadium sometime this year.
Absolutely. I'll be down there a lot this year, baby. Season tickets are on the reality check tour. So that's happening in my life. You'll see me a lot. Thanks, Dad. About 4 of them this year, and I'm a happy recipient of any of those I want to use. But all of them. That's all I got, man. Hoo day. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Take it easy. Hoo day. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Willie's a great guy. Make sure you check out the Same Old Stripes podcast. Now, I have to go meet Maddie Myers. We are going around the West Side and giving bar owners a sample of the Jackpot Joey beer. So I want to get to that. But I love hanging out with you guys. But we're trying to get this beer out here. So let me get to the Facebook groups that led the live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of them. They're Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and they can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trunapole. TikTok is at Iceman90. I'll be pulling a sound off hopefully later on tonight, put on the podcast. If I do, check it out. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. YouTubers, you guys are awesome. Like I said, I'm at 1,804 subscribers. Love you guys. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If you're watching me on Twitter or you're watching on Facebook, please go to the YouTube channel, Sports Strawberries. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification because I'm trying to get to 2,000. By the time the season rolls around, September 11th is opening day. So let's try to get that up to 2,000 as fast as we can. And people asked about the hat in the chat. It's the new, we got new bucket hats for, my brother-in-law's crazy. We got new bucket hats in the Jackpot Joey, JackpotJoey9.com. We got an orange one. We got a black one. We got a Bengal white tiger one. It's kind of the white and black camo hat, kind of like the hoodie I wear sometimes if you guys see them. Go check those out. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out. We got the beer coming out. We got some kind of new video, song, something coming out I have to tell you guys about later. I'm kind of keeping that one under my hat for a little bit, but a lot of cool stuff coming up here. The Bengals are going to have an unbelievable season this year. It starts this Friday. I cannot wait. I want to get in there now, but it's Monday. Anyway, tomorrow I have Emily Parker on the show. Also, I'm recording an episode with Richard Skinner, so there should be two. One live, one recorded. So make sure you guys, again, stay tuned to the channel. I got a lot of stuff coming at you. And other than that, say it with me, people. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. In the night, stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, Houday, we ignite. And Cincinnati, we gon' rise. And in the jungle, we unite. And dripping orange and black and white. Houday, when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, everything day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin' Houday, time to put your hands up. Bengal stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati, jungle fitted. Houday in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that Houday muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise. And in the jungle, we unite. And dripping orange and black and white. Houday, when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah, we got 'em, yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange, I'll